Happy May, everyone. And it's also the Feast of St. Joseph today. And there's a wonderful challenge for us in Paul's letter to the Colossians that's read on the Feast of St. Joseph. And Paul writes this. He writes, "Whatever you do, do from the heart." And what a great description of St. Joseph. The very little we know of him is that he was a man who made choices from his heart. When confronted with a pregnant Mary, he chose to be faithful to her, to be merciful rather than be judgmental and divorce her. So reflecting on this challenge, when we react primarily from the mind or the head, we react so often with such judgment and anger. Where past hurts and betrayals and disappointments come up. But when we listen to our hearts, we make decisions from mercy and compassion. And while life can be so different and so much more peaceful when we make our decisions from the heart. As I reflect on what's happening in our world, in our nation, and in our church these days, it seems that way too many decisions are being made from the head and very few from the heart. I know we have to be rational and do things with reason, but we can't forget this one very important part of us. And because we do so often forget the heart, we find ourselves these days in such messy situations in the world and in the nation and the church. Also, this past weekend, Sunday's celebration was the Good Shepherd. I know as modern people that we have a hard time relating to that image, but Jesus used this parable to help us understand our God is a God who is not judgmental, but God whose heart is enormous. So enormous that this God is always seeking us out, searching for us, always welcoming us back into God's loving arms. Jesus is telling us through this parable that whatever God does from the heart, from mercy and not judgment. So how about us as we begin the month of May? We begin with the story of the Good Shepherd and the Feast of St. Joseph. Let's take this challenge as our weekly reflection. Whatever we do, let's get out of our judgmental heads and into our compassionate hearts. You know, every day we probably have hundreds of judgments that we make about everything and everybody. Let's try to just stop that kind of judgment and listen more to what's going on in our hearts. Have a good day, everyone.